Well, let's go down to Tassie, if I can, down to your neck of the woods, and this fight that's happening in and around the seat of Lions about the Tassie salmon industry. I spoke to the Mayor of Devonport last night. She said, make the bloody decision, Tanya. We want to know before the election. If you're going to scrap the industry, let us know that before we vote. Well, now we've got the head of the Australian Workers Union coming out, Paul Farrow, who says the core question remains clear. Do we care more about the livelihoods of regional Tasmanian families or the exaggerated concerns of inner city activists? It's got a real smell of, 2004, I think it was, that election when John Howard went down to the timber workers of Tassie, won their vote and won in a landslide, Jono.
Yeah, this is history repeating itself again. You've got the inner city elites telling regional communities what to do, and you've got real Labor who still exist in pockets of the party, in various unions and a certain faction within the Labor Party, staring on in fear, and now they're finally speaking out. And these hundreds of jobs in Strawn on the hook. The Mayor of Devonport, Ali Jarman, is absolutely right, and she's not alone. I understand there's a former Labor Premier who's on the cusp of calling on Tanya Plibersek to actually do her job in the interests of Tasmanian people, and there is no reason for a delay other than she doesn't want to annoy the Green voters in her electorate by making a decision in favour of the industry, and she doesn't want to annoy some of her colleagues by shutting the industry down if that's the decision she makes. So she really is going to suffer make Labor suffer at the ballot box if she doesn't make a decision before the election, which she should and could.
Needs to be transparent, absolutely. The Greens want to put on the table at the election a policy to give every Australian, and it won't be Australian woman, it'll be everyone with a uterus or not, or presenting as a woman or whatever, free contraception, Lucy. It'll cost poor old taxpayers $250 million. What do you think of this?
I think it's pretty absurd, to be honest. In the ideal world, Peta University would be free. Everything would be free in the world, but then that would be tantamount to economic vandalism. And right now, at a cost of living crisis, is it really worth putting towards, $250 million towards something like this? We already have several forms of contraception that are pretty much, taken care of under the PBS and lower costs. The thing that made me laugh the most was when they said, that this is about gender inequality. Gender inequality. What are you talking about? Does this mean that you're going to provide, cheaper condoms and cheaper vasectomies for men as well? It's pretty laughable. And I think ultimately now what we're seeing is just another kind of, fantasy idea from the Greens that are trying to solve a problem that has already been solved by the PBS scheme. And I think that, I'd like to see that $250 million go towards our nurses, right, who are currently on strike here in New South Wales and who are desperate for more money and for ratios to be increased. So there's better ways that we could be spending that money in areas that have already been taken, that already really need some attention versus areas that have already been taken care of. I just think it's silly.
Well, let's go to Western Sydney, Jono. It's going to be a battleground, as we know. We've got a Muslim vote movement. Labor are quite spooked by this. In the seat of Barton, this is the seat held by Linda Burney. She's retiring, of course. There's a stoush going on and talk that Albanese will come in. He wants a left-wing candidate. Apparently the right faction control Barton, but he wants a lefty. He wants to go in with another captain's pick. Well, he had one last time in another seat, the seat of Fowler. He put in Christina Keneally, 18% swing against Labor. How's this one going to go down?
I reckon about as well, Peter. I mean, this is the thing. It's just another demonstration of how out of touch Labor are. They don't get their policies right because they don't listen to the people. And then the faceless men of the backroom of the Labor Party, which are the people controlling this party here. It's all done in back rooms with no transparency whatsoever, choosing who candidates will be, which is why people reject them. And so in Fowler, as you say, we had a great independent elected there who spoke on behalf of the people. They didn't want to fly in backroom operative that picked by the faceless men of the Labor Party. And if Anthony Albanese had his wits about him, he'd understand that from a mistake made not so long ago. But it won't go well. What can you expect from Labor?
We'll watch it closely, of course. So that's what the decision in New York on Israel was all about. Jono, Lucy, thank you.